Hello everybody, welcome to Sam's Outdoor Life. Got a camera that needs testing. Recently purchased this little box from a well-known auction site, and one of these, which is a film holder that came with it. I've just got the one, and I can only put one piece of film in this. Now it should take glass plates, but I'm going to slip a piece of film in because although I got some glass plates with it, I'm pretty sure they're going to be knackered. This camera is a Voigtlander, or Voigtlander I think it's actually pronounced. Let's go with VAG because the spelling of this is VAG, which in English is often pronounced in the way that would suggest the lady's private parts. So we're going to go with the VAG. It's a Voigtlander VAG. It's a, well, let me just open it up. Look at that. Pretty cool, eh? So it's about 100 years old. It has rise and fall on the front for sort of getting your uprights upright in a photo, and it has some swing as well. Doesn't have any tilt. Let's get that straight again. Doesn't have any tilt mechanism, but it's so it's in between a field camera and a sort of a snapshot camera, really. Focusing, currently pulled that out there, that is currently focused at infinity, and I can go from there all the way out to 4 foot just by doing that. As for focusing this camera, let me show you. Right, for focusing this we've got a couple of options. The most exciting one is at the back here is a little hooded area with a ground glass inside. Now if I open this shutter up onto time mode and I bring the camera round a little bit, excuse me bashing that around, you may or may not see I now have an upside down and backwards image of the world around us on the outside. And that's currently focused on infinity, and then you'll see there the window should come into focus as I move that lever. So that window's about 3.5 feet away, and this will focus down to 4 feet, so it's not quite coming sharp, but that's how you focus it. And then that back, let's just close that down, is removable. It just slides out. So now that is the inside of the camera. And then, there we go. I've got this film holder which would slide in, or will slide in, and can be locked in place by moving a little screw across there. Here we are at the front of the camera, and you can see this is the shutter, just like that. If I click it again, that opens it. So that's how that's on the time setting, because the speed selector is up here. Sorry, that's almost off the page, but that's time bulb 1/100th of a second, which is as fast as it goes, down to 1 second. And let's just test that 1 second, because it's normally slow shutter speeds that are the problem. Yeah, it's a little bit lethargic, but you know, it works. So 1/2 a second is probably actually a bit more like a second. When we come up 1/5 of a second was probably not far off. 1/10, sound is fine. 1/25. I mean, these could all be off by quite a way, but luckily film is very, very forgiving of exposure times. Actually much more so than digital is. But put it back on time, open that up. Just down here is the focusing mechanism. He says not focusing this camera. There we go. So that's currently on infinity, and then you draw it out further to focus on closer in objects. So if you've got a closer in object, you bring the lens closer. And it's just got markers 10 meters, 5, 3.5, 2.5, 2, 1.7, 1.4 and 1.2. Up the top, excuse me while I angle this, there we go. You've also got one of these sort of like little very simple viewfinders to give you an idea of your composition. So you could use this, I could literally take this out, not use the focusing mechanism. You just use the focusing scale down here. Say, yeah, okay, I'm roughly that far away. Stop the lens down so I get a decent depth of field, and then use this to set my composition, and use it more like a snapshot camera. But where's the fun in that? So the other thing about this, obviously, as you'll see, this folds up. So as you close this back in, it just folds up flat. Push those up. And there's a little hidden catch in the top that opens that. So there we go. Now don't worry, I'm about to open this up. And this has got a sheet of film in it already, but it's a used sheet of film just to demonstrate. So I mean, I say used, it was just ruined when I was loading up some other film, so it's useful for testing things out. As I say, this should be for photographic plates, glass plates, but I can actually, this is a 5x4 film, this is expired film, there's a few sheets left in there I think. This is a foam pan, it's a different type of film but the same size. So this is your, effectively this is your digital sensor, if you like. Now I can slip that in there and it will go in, and then we can close that down over the top and it will work. And it should be in the same plane that the front of the glass would be in. It should be, because so it should be the same focusing, almost exactly, because there are these little tabs that are designed to put pressure on the thing in there and hold it against this. So hopefully that'll work. I've got to get everything into this dark bag now so we don't get any light while I do this. So that all goes in there, and it's very, very fiddly. We close this up. Right, that's that done, so time for the reveal. See if I've got it about right. Well, that's in. So hopefully it's okay. As I say, I've not shot with this, so no idea. I've just counted up with my fingers inside there. There are two sheets of film left in there. Right, welcome to the noisiest location I could find to test this camera. Sorry, I'm right next to a main road, but I'm at this lovely old church in Great Kimble, and the camera is set up here. So here's the digital camera view. and that's the old camera view. So what I've got to do is set the correct aperture and exposure time, swap the back over, make sure the lens is closed, and then take the shot. What I've done, you'll see those bellows are angled up, so that's giving me a rise to hopefully keep the verticals vertical, because the tripod is set entirely level. So by doing that, it should mean that the church looks like it's upright rather than falling away from us as it would do on a standard camera. If I just angled the camera up, it would make the church look like it's falling away. So the camera is on f/18 and 1/10 of a second, so hopefully that'll give us a decent result. Right, so time to switch this back, the viewing back, over. So, slide that out. And slide in this one. Right then, final checks. 1/10 of a second. f/18. Shutter is closed. Okay, so this is locked in place. I'll slide this up. Oh god, nerve-wracking. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now, very important, I must slide this back in. There we go. Right, let's take the camera home. Fingers crossed. Groovy. Homeward bound. Through the miracle of a dark bag, I managed to get the film out. It was a bit of a game, so I'm hoping it was in there okay. It sort of popped out. It's now safely in the tank, and I've mixed up 1 litre of ID11. This is a very expensive way of doing this, because I did it 1:1. So stock solution 500 millilitres mixed up with water 500 millilitres 1:1 to give me the 1 litre that I need for this tank. Still daylight safe there. So it's on the reel inside there, and yeah, that's 20 degrees, no worries there. Now, according to my chart here, which came with the ID11, where are we? Delta 100 professional. Ha! Delta 100 professional, 1:1, 11 minutes. I've got my school approved timer, or at least they used to use these when I was at school. So here we go, we'll tip it in. In there, flip the timer up, give it a quick little agitation. And I'm going to do that every minute on the minute. Right then, coming up on 11 minutes now. So, whatever has happened has happened. Right, pour out the developer. Put in the stop bath. This is bright green because it's an old stop buff, but it'll still do the job. It's reusable, so it'll do the job. Let's reset that. Probably needs replacing fairly soon, but it will do the job. We'll put a minute of that, and then I'll put the fix in. The fix is also a bit old. I did a test the other week to see how long it would take to clear the so basically this, if I put this into the fixer, it would go clear, and twice the amount of time it takes to do that is how long you should fix it for. Now Fresh Fixer will do that in a couple of minutes, but it took 10 minutes with the fixer that I've got. Might have been because it was cold as well, it wasn't fully up to temperature, that certainly wouldn't have helped. But, right, pour out the stop bath. So the development has been stopped. And now we're going to go with the fix. Now I have just freshened this up a little bit. I just added in 200 millilitres of freshly mixed fix. So with this I am just going to err on the side of caution, reset the timer, and I'm going to leave it in for a good 7 or 8 minutes. Once it's been in the fixer a while, you can actually take this lid off, because it will be light safe. You can take the lid off, have a little look, check it's cleared properly. But it's not a bad idea, because I was doing that before, and for a while I was sort of like going, yep, that's clear, and then when it dried it had this fog on it, and I thought it was a problem with the camera, but it wasn't. I wasn't fixing it for long enough, so that's why I now fix it for a decent amount of time. Right, well this is really disappointing. I've just pulled it out, it's still shiny and wet, and we can see, if I can get that to focus, we've got a little bit there that wasn't exposed to light, but everything else has been hit by light. Gosh, look at that, black. Now I've got developer mixed up. I'll be able to use that again. Stop the timer. What a shame. What a shame. I don't know when or how that happened, but we know it's been exposed to light, way too much light, so it might be that the seals on the thing don't work, or I accidentally, exposed it somehow. So it's a bit of a mystery, but I've got 2 more sheets of this, so I might as well try again. Right, here I am set up again. I've got a view straight now. I should really go landscape. We've got a view out there of my neighbour's house and his car. I'm sure he's not going to really want me showing you all his number plate, so I'm going to focus in on the stuff on the window. So I'm focusing just under 2 meters away now. I'm going to pop this back off. I've taken a meter reading using the Seconic. That is telling me F22. Well, I don't have F22, but I've got F25, so we'll go somewhere between 18 and 25. That's telling me 1 second. I know 1 second is a bit off on this. Let's just test it. Right, that was about 6 seconds. So I think what we'll do is I'll put it into B mode, because I'm going to be more accurate than the timer is. Right, now I did put the film in the film holder again, and to give me maximum chances, I've left it in the dark bag. I'm just going to pull it out now, put it straight in the camera, which is definitely closed. And we'll give it a test. Success! The camera works. I'll get this dried and then scan it and flip it and do all of that stuff. Right, here we are then, some hours later. There's my negative. Here is the aged scanner, flatbed scanner, which just happens to have a holder for 5x4. It's probably covered in dust, but let's do the best we can quickly. There we go. Right then, that's a preview scan. Right, so on the screen there is the scan. I'll show you that close up in a minute. But I've missed the focus a little bit. I wasn't bang on. Just to give you some quick details, it's 11,500 pixels across the top there, this scan, and it's 14,000 down the bottom. So that gives 164.64 megapixels. So it's a big file. And you may or may not be able to see. If you're looking on a phone, you definitely won't be able to. This is currently shown on the screen to fit in the box. It's 4.6%. If I bring it up a little bit, we can see. Now I was focused, I thought, on this stuff, but it looks like I've got camera shake. Remember, it was a 1 second exposure, and so I've got camera shake. As I trip that shutter, I've jiggled the camera a bit, so it's not as crisp as it would be. This is 75% now, showing on the screen. See this dragonfly here would have been in the same plane of focus, but it's just not sharp. It's fine. I mean, if I come out, it doesn't matter, you know. But we have established that the 100-year-old camera works, and with possibly a 20-year-old scanner, I've managed to produce, if I'd done a better job of taking the picture, I've managed to produce a 164.64 megapixel file. That's pretty impressive. So the first time, the blank photo was entirely user error, me. This one, good result. It's not the sharpest. By the way, this is still This is like the raw file, effectively. I'll convert it in a minute to a JPEG to share. But you know, that's not bad. 100-year-old camera. So there you go, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. Maybe you found bits of it informative. Maybe it's given you an insight into other aspects of photography, older aspects. It is funny. I mean, in the time it took me to try and take that one photo at the church, not counting getting there and getting home and everything, I could have taken thousands of digital images. There would have been smaller files and cleaner than the one that I've got here. I mean, let's say I took a digital file of that picture, it would be very, very sharp, perfectly exposed. You know, there is no question. Digital is far easier, and it's, you know, even if you're using manual settings, digitally it's way easier. But I don't know how to describe it, but for me, digital's got no soul, you know? It's got no magic to it. I mean, in there is like, it's a marvel, really. But that little floppy piece of plastic with the emulsion effectively painted onto it, you can take an image, it will make a latent image, you bung that in a bunch of chemicals and out it pops. That will never ever cease to amaze me. Maybe it's that it's tangible, you know? You can see it, you can hold it in your hands. You can't really hold a digital sensor in your hands and look at the picture. Maybe that's it. I mean, that is also archival in a way that digital files with the best will in the world, they're just not. They're not. This file, even if I kept this super safe, good practice is to replace all of your drives every 5 years and move things on and have multiple copies of this. That's good practice. This thing, this little thing here, I could stick that in a little acid-free protective sleeve, pop it in a file and forget about it for 100 years and pull it out and make a print from it. Well, clearly I couldn't, but someone else could. So, in many ways digital is better. In other ways it's not. It's just different. It's very, very different. The whole system is very different. Amazing. Thanks for watching. Ta-ta.